30 October 2024. The months were consumed, never mind how fast or slow, by a searching of souls, of boxes tipped over in hopes of finding redemption. Locrian and Lydia, thrill-stripped by the banal, exhausted of hope, ambled through the days alone with each other. There no longer appeared to be the possibility of avowal. The reality of an impending rupture increased as their walls disintegrated slowly, the rust gaining advantage in the unseen minutes. There was one explanation, although he didn't dare say it aloud, that she was falling out of love, whatever that meant. To fall in and out of love, he hated the expression. Surely love was chosen and left with confident steps. He bled at the very notion of losing her, and fawned anew with the vigour of a child trying to get the attention of a parent. If she would just tell him what was wrong, he could fix it. "You already know what's wrong," she said. "I'm not a mind reader." "Ain't that the truth?" "I want to help." "Leave me alone to find the truth myself." Truth. He tried to remember earlier times when life had been happy and easy, but he could not. Yet surely there had to have been a moment, a pocket of days unsullied, for how on earth had they endured to this point, if not without the promise of returning to what they once found so simple? "Of course you can't remember. You never hold on to anything when life's peachy," she told him. "Why anchor yourself to a single spot when it's all good?" Right then he'd have anchored himself to anything. The months were consumed, never mind how fast or slow. He continued to stare out into the darkness. The darkness stared back at him. It taunted him, danced on the notion that it might conceal something or reveal nothing. Certainly Locrian could reach out into the black. Perhaps a salvation stood directly beside him and he could not see. But should he reach out? That was another question entirely. The months were consumed, never mind how fast or slow, by that abyss of oblivion, engulfed greedily by a hungry and eldritch beast, holding memories to itself with a celestial gravity, days hanging like tiny moons trapped in the planetary pull of the wandering star that peered from infinite blackness. Time watched, dilated and wasted, at the change that crept through Lydia's veins, until her eyes were barely recognisable as her own, and Locrian felt her slip slowly away from him. "I can't see through the veil," he said. "It shouldn't be like this." "How long am I to keep up this charade?" she said. "I can't be all that you want me to be." He took her hands into his own. The eyes that were no longer hers, shifted to avoid his gaze. "Can I meet you in the middle? My modal palindrome," he beseeched. "You vampire of my love," she scolded. "I am none of these things." Locrian could do nothing but watch as the depression devoured her, his icy love withdrawing further from the joy they'd once shared. Lydia stopped going to work, then stopped getting out of bed at all. Whatever turmoil dwelt within her remained hidden from him, a closely guarded secret he could not guess or vindicate. The months were consumed, never mind how fast or slow. It became evidently apparent that the darkness that enclosed Lydia was something very different to a fracturing romance. They had reached that point where their wavelengths ran dissonant, out of sync, out of time. For Locrian, the gravity of his own despair dragged him back towards his music as he clutched at Lydia's old guitar and played a piece that he had recently composed. The strings were dull though, the tuning all wrong, and he was unable to get the tempo right. Wrong timing again, flat 5. How could time be wrong? Reality flickered in and out, a weakening flame. "Time just passes anyway," he muttered. Lydia stood over him, the guitar ringing out a single, tuneless chord ad nauseum. "Time what? 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 Will you speak up? I can't hear a fucking thing you say. All you do is mumble. Dad once told me something he read, he said. That time was a frozen river, a big block of ice. Slice it up in any way, and you can have past, present, and future all together at the same time. Gibberish, she said, from an old man. When he looked through his telescope and pointed at some faraway planet, that light was old. I was looking into the past. If I thought hard enough, I could consider myself in a world where everything that ever was and ever will be was right now. You're stuttering. I'm echoing. She threw her arms in the air. If I could take back every word I said, let me out of your echo chamber. He began to consider the real possibility of breaking up with Lydia, what it might look like, whether she'd truly be gone or not. The months were consumed, never mind how fast or slow. When he first noticed her self-harming, it took him by surprise. It was a shadow on her wrist, a swelling of broken cells, a burn that had torn a small strip of her away, where it would rise like smoke into nothingness. Before you say what you're thinking, she said, it isn't something you should concern yourself with. What the fuck, Lyd? He took her hand gently. What is this? I was cooking. Boiling water splashed at me. Tell me the truth. I burnt my wrist with the lighter. It helps me feel alive. Her voice stuttered echoes in the vacuum of his skull. You don't need to do this, he implored of her. Please, don't. Let me help. You know all of my light is for you. She looked at him through a veil of tears. Why won't you let go? I'm already gone. I will stand with you, watch you until dawn, your vigil. What hope are you, when you can't even see in the dark? It was not a question, but a statement. Nothing is coming, he said. Nothing is coming to save you. Nothing is lurking in the dark. I can protect you. The blinds in their flat had remained down for longer than either could remember. Day was night, and the months were consumed, never mind how fast or slow. From out the fetid darkness of dream-drowned sleep, the storm tossed up visions of cruel hatred. Her eyes, those eyes that weren't her own, and their flat, no longer home. Her voice came to him, unfamiliar in its tonality, still her, still there, but all wrong. Do you fear your home betraying you? He had been trying to sleep. Through his blurred eyes, the clock glowed of the witching hour. Lydia stood at the window. The streetlight gave her an outline, but no more detail than shadow. I think about the solitary hour of a person's death. Walk to the light, they say. Why would one see a light? They couldn't. Close your eyes and there is no light. Locrian spoke uninhibited by waking reality. His brain sponged in a miasma of sleep. You could build a fire. I don't want to see. I can fix it. I don't need you to tell me how to land when I fall.